Colby called out Masvidal, but he added to it. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, yeah, Chael, that was a year ago. Okay, fine. But he has seemed to add to the narrative, which is he said, look, it's an all or nothing. My purse, your push, show money, bonus money, a whole thing goes into one pot, winner takes all. Loser gets none of it. Now, I do realize we're not going to do that. We're not going to get that point. There's no manager out there that would let their fighter go into that. And there's no trainer that's going to train a fighter if he knows that his percentage of the purse is possible to be nothing. And even if you said, Chael, that's not true, and we could find all the guys, okay, fine. That's not even the hat I'm attempting to hang my hat on this argument. Anyway, all I'm saying is, I realize that that is not something that we're going to do, but there is an interesting question of, could you do it? It has never been done that I'm aware of, definitely not within the UFC or Bellator. Is there somewhere where you can do it? Yeah, there are some winner-take-all fights. I know of a couple that happened in Japan, and Roy Jones Jr., as a matter of fact, did one not that long ago. Roy went over to Russia and fought a German, or he went over to Germany and fought a Russian fighter. But that was the deal. It was $1 million, winner take all. One guy, nobody gets anything to show up. No, $1 million goes to the winner. Roy ended up beating the guy. I want to say he stopped him in like the 6th round. And his manager told me that story. Keith had told me that story of how all of that worked. And I only bring it to you guys because there are places that do that. You could do that even within the states and the commissions. And you win it right into the contract as a winner take all. You know, both guys show up for $1 and each guy would have a contract that just accumulated the money. George, sign here. This is what you get if you win. Colby, sign here. Here's what you get if you win. I mean, there are ways to do it. And when you do think about it, it sure does make it fun. I mean, what would that add to the fight? What would that add to the preparation? What would that add to the training? What would it add to the pressure on fight night? What would it add to the excitement of winning? What would it add to the buildup for us as the fans? I don't know that answer. It definitely adds to it. There is something on that. We're sitting here having a discussion about this, but while we're having a conclusion to the discussion, but prior to us even getting there, that it will not happen, and we're still over here talking about it. I mean, look, it does put everybody in a very weird spot. Does that show that Colby would like to do that fight? Yes. Does that put George in a hard spot if he doesn't respond? I've always been a little bit surprised and a little bit confused what's going on there. I've never wanted to be an outsider that adds fuel to that fire. These guys were training partners. These guys are friends. These guys were roommates. I mean, there's something about that if you guys are going to fight, just feels as though that needs to be done over here with nobody stoking it. There's just something that doesn't feel right about it. There was a promotion that was trying to come along. They ended up never having their first show, and I can't even remember who was behind it, but the very first ever card was going to be called Brotherly Love. And it was just going to be brothers against brothers. The Sarah brothers were going to fight. The Hughes, Matt and Mark Hughes brothers were going to fight. The whole thing was going to be main evented by Ken Shamrock versus Frank Shamrock. And I heard about this from Frank Shamrock. He's like, oh, it's going to be great. Here's the marketing idea. And I listened. I was respectful. I just knew how I felt inside. And inside, there was something that just didn't feel right about it. There was something, it just didn't feel right. There was that heat between the Shamrock brothers. I know the Gracies have had some push and pull between the family. Man, that needs to stay private. I don't want to see that fight, and I don't want to add to it. Now, Masvidal and Colby are something totally different if they get that agreed to. Everything that I just laid out for what makes it a little bit awkward also adds to the story. How did some of those training sessions go? Could we be more specific? Was Colby winning on the ground and Masvidal was winning on days that they would do just kickboxing? I mean, is there anything more to it that we can gather? Did they used to work out every single day? Because don't forget, they were even different weight classes. This wasn't a matter of them, hypothesizing within their minds that should we both reach the highest level of the sport. No, George was at 155, cleaning house. Colby was at 170, cleaning house. I mean, there was a chance that they gave each other their all, never once thinking, never once holding back. You'll see a lot of those gamesmanships, and you can't get around it. It's just the way it works. You get competitors in a room, they start to think of what the future could look like. I would imagine with those two, there was no secrets. Let's not hold back. I like you, you like me, you're coaching me, I'm coaching you. You sleep over here, I sleep over there, different weight classes. I would just think that that story would really evolve. I would just tell you on a personal standpoint, it feels a little bit straight. Like they need to figure that out. Let those guys, whatever they're going to do, where the winner takes all, or whatever they're going to do, and tell us once it's done. But it has been a source of interest for me of where is Colby? I'm not the only one that misses the Colby show. There's something special. There's a whole pomp and circumstance around him fighting. And it's been a little bit quiet. We got hit with a false rumor that he had a broken jaw, and everything kind of slowed down after that. Colby's then left his gym, set up his own training situation, working hard, getting ready for something, and I'm sitting here going, when are we going to hear what that is? And what my guess was, I thought Colby had a little ace in the hole. I thought he had something done, a little something that's about to get announced, pull it out of his sleeve. But now that he's calling out Masvidal, I'm back to wondering, what is the hold up there? George has been a little bit more open. Hey, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight. You know my weight class, but you also know my number. Okay, we see what's stopping George. Where is Colby? And I don't know that I'm suggesting those two get together, but the mere fact that Colby was suggesting that they get together told me Colby doesn't have a partner right now.